league. I'm Nate.
And I'm Glenn.
No, Jay, he's sick. I'm sick, but like he's sicker. So he's not going to be here this evening. He's
no real beef, but
it takes two to tango, as they say. So I'll drag myself off the deathbed.
Glendrick prevails. Jake is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, he's not like us.
Not like us. He is.
I mean, because look, it takes two to tango to get these shows, going. We can't have you just sitting there talking to yourself the entire time, and make a podcast out of it. So
I would love it.
So
I'm not sure it's great listening.
You need to, when you need to make up the second man, I mean, you need to get off your bed, your deathbed, and actually, put together, sacrifice for the show. But you know none about that.
Any truth to the rumor he locks him?
We don't want to hear you say digger no more.
Oh, fucking hide your little sisters.
So excuse me, I'm going to cough my guts up because I am not great. I'm just coming to the tail end of it. Hopefully I'll be good by the weekend. But I swear this week have been like where I've actually had to take downtime.
Your face through being sick, blending with your grey curtain behind you. You look like shit.
Yeah, I've actually normally I'll just because working from home and stuff, you don't have to worry about interacting with people and spluttering and everything like that. So usually I'll just sort of just go straight through and just work, do whatever I got to do. But this week I was actually the first time I can remember in a long, many years where I've actually had to just fucking
stop.
Sleep. yeah, exactly. Which has been kind of good, but
You also find though when you actually stop, your body's like, "Oh fuck, we've stopped," and just complete shutdown.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think I've slept as much in the last 4 days. I've slept so much, but anyway, the show must go on though, and so we are going to bust out a show this week for you guys. And the way you need to start it off though is being Thursday, and we're on the precipice of the next round of action already. We're going to. I'm not going to say necessarily we're going to express it up, because when I say that, it automatically means
3 hours.
Like it's all like 90 minutes, definitely. And when I say express episode, I usually mean let's bust this thing out in fucking 59 max. But it usually ends up being 90 minutes. But in any case, we're going to start off with the game last night, the Origin, and my gosh, we saw the New South Wales Blues prevail in Melbourne over Queensland by a scoreline of 38-18, following a 34-0 first half, which was the most dominant half of action scoreline in State of Origin history. Which to me I found that fucking stunning, because it felt as bad as wherever that time we went to Origin. And Queensland won
I was at that game. It was the first game at the Olympic Stadium before the Olympics.
Right.
And I don't know if it was the hand grenade, but I
just remember 56-16 or something.
New South Wales just I remember that game, and I remember just going, "Fuck, we've been pumped." But that game last night, there was early exchanges where, Queensland, and it was a little bit of back and forth, feeling each other out, so to speak, in the very early going. But you could just see that there was a difference in the energy between the two teams, and it sort of, you could definitely see it after the first try. But Queensland just got bashed through the middle to a level that even the Fatty Vorton coach sides and some of those no-name teams back in those days, you just didn't see that. And you've got this elite team that just had no answer. And I don't know if it'll turn out that it was a blip on the radar. They come out at Suncorp and right the ship. I hope that's the case.
Look, I'm not going to say that Queensland can't win the decider, but the thing is...
But you look at... Sorry to cut you off. But you look at trying to come back from that result, as opposed to coming back from the result in game 1 from New South Wales perspective, like, that's a hell of a fucking reaction. The way they played,
but also,
right?
like, if you look at the stats, you look at the stat line for game 1 and take out the line break one, because the line break one's crazy, like 9-1 or something, as you'd expect a team that's playing 13 on 12, right? But if you take that out of there, the rest of the running of the game itself, you could look at the stat line and go, and not knowing anything about it, and go, yeah, okay, New South Wales won that game.
Yeah.
Because you remember in the second half, and like after it got out to that sort of 10-0 lead or whatever it was, you thought there'd be floodgates, but the floodgates thing didn't happen until the very, like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a period there where if they had better players creatively in attack and not Nico Hines, they could have scored points with the dominance they had and actually made much more of a game of it,
Yeah, I agree.
This one, obviously, the man disadvantaged didn't eventuate at any stage. And in fact, it was only when they got to 12 on 12 that Queensland got something going, thanks to Liam Martin being an absolute fucking retard. I mean, there's a couple of schools of thought, like, I do love the passionate Origin stuff, but also at the same time, the referee that they're selecting for these games wants to be the main character.
Exactly.
More than anything else in life, he wants to be the main character, and if you give him the excuse to become the main character, then he's going to take that chance. And the thing it wasn't about Liam Martin being fired up that annoyed me. What annoyed me was it was literally the play after where he said, the next time someone runs in, I'm going to be fucking sitting people down. So, like, at least give it one tackle.
Yeah.
Rubbing the guy on the head. I mean, obviously didn't deserve it, but he had been told, don't come in, because the next time that players come together, people are going. And that was like Pat Carrigan looked like he was just like the most unsurprised person ever, because he knew damn well that he'd done more than any Queensland guy in that exchange. So he was the one going. I dare say he was bugging and wanted to rest.
Fair. For New South Wales, I thought, obviously, the inclusion of Latrell, not only what he actually did during the game, and I thought he had a solid game. The presence that he holds amongst that group, not only with New South Wales, but what he actually does mentally to the Queensland team. And if you listen or see any of the reels or whatever with ex and current players on podcasts, whether it's Willie Mason and Danny Kemp's thing or any of them, there's a bunch of them, right? Whenever they're talking about Latrell, whether it's a current player or a past player, the level of reverence that Latrell holds with the playing group, whether it's New South Wales or Queensland, is very rare. Like, don't see, you might see that for a Lockie or a Johns or whatever. Latrell's, he's had his ups and downs and he's been in and out of favour with obviously fans, but also selectors and clubland and all the rest of it. But the status that he holds within the players in the NRL, it shows in big games, and that's why they call him a big game player. He was outstanding. He found the balance and the right line for the passion, and not to mention his skill. And he was a massive impact, but it's not just about what he did on the field physically with his skill. It was more about the confidence that he gives his teammates, the second guessing that he gives the opposition when he's got the ball, or when he's around the ball, or when he's around even defensively. And I think Coates and Valentine Holmes
absolutely gave a bath to Valentine Holmes. Yeah. He had nothing for him.
No, it was, and I think that's part of it, because Holmes has been rapped for his defence, multiple times at Origin and club level over the last couple of seasons, and he had one of the worst games I've seen him play. Coates was all at sea. He could see what was going on with Holmes, and I think he was in two minds as to whether he helps or stays out. Toto gets the flick pass and skips past him because he's not confident that Holmes can handle Latrell one-on-one. And but for me, it was the way that they bashed Queensland through the middle, and it was a relentless assault. I'm the last person typically to give any credit to Mitchell Moses, but I don't think he's answered all his critics and put a full stop on some of the doubters, but he played behind a dominant pack.
Yep.
And I thought he was great. And I thought he was excellent defensively, which is has been a huge knock on him. He had some big defensive plays in that game. They tested him. Early, and then they thought the way back into the game is to try and get at him, and he stood up to it. And you have to give credit.
I wanted him there over Cooper Johns with the wet hair because I cannot stand me Nico Hines. I think he's one of the most overrated mid fucking players of recent times. Moses obviously he wouldn't be my first choice, but of the players that we had available injury free, and after his performance in his comeback game after injury for the Eels, the worst case scenario, if he played exactly the same as Nico Hines, but made his tackles, and he's got a much better long kicking game. If nothing else, that's turning them around, and at least they're coming out of their corners and all that sort of thing. So you're giving yourself a chance. But then what he brought to the table as well, I mean, like his passing was fucking great. The tries he set up down the right-hand side were great. Short kicking games, I mean, whether it's a little chip over for the Zach Lomax try or the little opportunistic grubber down the left-hand side for Brian To'o's try. I mean, he played a by far and away man of the match in a side where it's very hard to be critical. Like, you've really got to pick, to find deficiencies across. I mean, like, honestly, like Angus Crichton was fucking enormous as well. I mean, it's probably one of the best games I've ever seen him play. And, at any level.
Spencer Leniu as well. Like, that's 2 games now where he has, he come onto the field into a side that was completely dominant and took them to another level. In the first game, he had an impact, and in a team in a squad that was doing it tough with a man down, he had an impact and put Queensland back on their heels for a period of time single-handedly. He polarises people, and I get that, but based on his capability on the field, not the things that he says, or some of his choices or turns of phrase, I can't fault his selection, and I think if you want someone coming off the bench and having an impact, you can't ask any more than what he's delivered.
Yep. I mean, Zach Lomax, he started the game the way that he sort of ended, like the last sort of 30, 40 minutes or whatever of the first Origin game, where where you saw there was a period there where he sort of lifted and started delivering what we expected. I mean, that was him for 80 minutes in this game.
To the point also, on Lomax, to the point where Talangi, who's normally quite good in the air, and he's normally, sound defensively, in attack, obviously he's excellent. He was all at sea when that ball came his way, and in commentary they said he got stuck under the flight of the ball. But Lomax, when that ball came off the foot, you could immediately see he was like, fuck. Like, he didn't want a bar of trying to stop Lomax. And he didn't get off the ground. He didn't time his work, and he was exposed for it. I think he's a lot better than that. But, Dearden as well, for me, fucking...
That was the real issues for Queensland. I mean, like Jaden Seward does great things with the ball in hand. But I think there was that channel there with him, Dearden, and the Hammer. And Hammer was obviously compromised with a shoulder injury at some point. But that little section there got absolutely obliterated by the New South Wales, and Mitch Moses fucking tormenting them at will, and even just with it wasn't even through necessarily power, but just through just bad defensive reads as well. With Moses, using Edwards out the back. I mean, one time he hit him, so he went around and scored the try after with a really bad read from Hammer. There was the other time where like you said with the kick, and then there was the first try where it was just a fairly standard sort of short ball, but the footwork from Liam Martin before he took the pass and sort of went from to step in and change his line.
He half slipped there too.
Yeah,
but I just he was rattled and he never got over it. And
I have to look up the stats because it felt like Dearden missed like 12 tackles in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like he just got absolutely hammered. But you know, and again, he was okay with ball in hand when he had a chance to, you know, use the ball. I was saying I was only crediting him with 3 missed tackles, which I think is incredible. But
yeah, someone else has ended up with a few strays.
Yeah, I dare say. And you know, in Queensland, like so beaten, so thoroughly beaten down the middle. I mean, there was nothing they could do about it. I mean, they got a couple of tries there when it got to 12-on-12. And I think that whole sin bin incident, just the change in momentum from there, that was probably the one thing that saved it from getting a 50 burger.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be 50 in the first half. Jackson and I looked at each other.
That was incredible, and
it was just like, what is going on? Like it was mental. But I guess the challenge for Moses and obviously New South Wales is now ahead of them to come up to Suncorp and try and put something like that together again.
It was a very simple game. There was very simple gameplay, and I mean, it
was 1970s rugby league. Bash him through the fucking middle.
There's very few chances of error, and I mean, and like Dylan Edwards probably made some defensive decisions I wasn't too happy about when Queensland scored their points when it was all far too late. But the Penrith thing, where he carts the ball, has a good cart up after he gets the kick. Then To'o goes, straight, from the next one. And then we found, Latrell or someone would be grabbing it for the third one. And you're sort of over halfway at that point. And that sort of thing it's worked for Penrith for the last couple of years. It works in Origin equally as well as
Latrell really bought into that too, because you could see his carries into the teeth of the defence were full of intent.
I think credit where I think that now, I mean, remember they tried to sort of replicate the Penrith spine and all these things in Origin in the Freddie era where it never really worked. And these system players, got caught out. But now I think what they've done is that they've removed the system players from representative fixtures and they've actually got football players in there. And you've got guys like Stephen Crichton, who's obviously talented. He's done great things for the Bulldogs this season.
Great footballer.
To'o is the best winger in the game, probably hands down. Now they got Dylan Edwards in there as well. Yo does his thing, but not really leaned on. Luai played his role and didn't have to overplay anything because he had a halfback who knows how to play as well. I think they've actually got the right Penrith players, and you see when they score tries and stuff as well. There's definitely it wasn't like the Panthers, circle jerk vibes. Like the guys that in that team now. Are such, and maybe it's because their captain is such a fucking vibe merchant as well, but like the feeling around that team is better than it's been for since COVID, time, so I think, and it's probably a feature of the coaching more than anything, and actually they're being coached now instead of just told to take their shoes off and fucking walk around.
Touch grass.
Yeah, exactly. So, but look, I think it's a very easy game plan to replicate. And it's up to Queensland to come again. I mean, they managed to they kind of provoked and exposed Reece Walsh into the worst parts of his games, that we talk about as well. Like Reece Walsh, he tried to do the stuff, and again, but instead of the Broncos where 2 things fuck up, 2 things work out, they just got him into the fuck ups side of things, and they kind of really beat him out of the game. There was a period there where he wasn't really involved. Like you expect in the second half. Even when they started scoring some tries, I mean, there was no real Reece Walsh involved in.
He can be a lippy cunt, but he doesn't love that stuff. Like Latrell shoving him after the ball goes dead and knocking him out. He doesn't want that.
No,
he's not here for that.
And it's certainly a way to put him back in. I mean, put him back into his shell. I mean, this is the thing. After being knocked out for all of game 1,
and look, it's probably completely understandable for a young guy. That's 2 fairly serious head knocks. One where he split himself
in the season, in the orbital or whatever it was.
Yeah.
In the ice socket
right.
there.
And then the Origin one, and it's his first game back. I just, I understand. Slater wanted him back in there, but you look how the Hammer played in game 1.
Yep.
And you've got Walsh having 0 games back in, right? He didn't play
Yep.
in the lead up in the week before the selection was made, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't he? I thought he did. Maybe he didn't.
Oh, maybe he did. So maybe he's had 1 club game back, but I just feel like he wasn't there for it, if you know what I mean. And it's probably understandable. Like that's a big fucking knock to come back from, and it's his second one of the season. And then you get into a game and they're roughing you up and they're knocking you on your ass off the ball, and it's probably a way to rattle him. And I think there's a bit of a blueprint there for anyone playing the Broncos, but certainly for Game 3.
Do you think it says anything? Can you read into anything around that issue? Like, can you read into it around Billy Slater and his coaching? Like, when after Walsh is knocked out for the whole game, I mean, he probably brings him back in and thinks, in Game 2, he probably expects him to play a major role, but in the end, he was a minor.
Oh, this is so good. So good. I love it. I've been obsessed with it for a better part of a week now, and I'm just getting to relive the whole thing.
Now I've given you the download of the actual whole thing. You just fucking wait, mate.
So good.
Wait.
Yeah. Look, Billy Slater's no stranger to severe facial injuries, both receiving them and dishing them out. So
mostly dishing them out, though. If we're being real. I mean, he got a little bite in the ear hole, but
No, early in his career, he smashed his face. Like, he fractured.
Oh,
yeah.
Who did that to him? I can't remember that. I need to find the highlight, though.
Okay. Oh, Jesus.
Need some whack-off material after the show.
You're a horrible human being.
Also, Mitch Moses, is he the sleeping giant of rugby league? Like Mitch Moses without Gutho. Mitch Moses without Gutho is the sleeping giant of rugby league. Look at him go.
Yeah.
You take that other fucking whinge and sook off him.
That's it. Which is, it's again, I said it before from in Parramatta land. You look at Blaze Talangi and fucking put him at 1 and ride out whatever youthful exuberance and the fuck ups that come along with it. Let him ride that out and just fucking put Gutho out to pasture.
So take him behind the tarp.
The screen, yeah. Well, you get a screen.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Put up a sheet.
A screen made out of tarp.
Get someone to hold up a piece of old cardboard and do what needs to be done.
Yeah. But look, ultimately, it's like, it is fucking good to win. It's much more fun when you win, and it's good that we've got a decider as well, because nothing. I mean, like, Queenslanders don't care. They'll go to a dead rubber in Queensland, and just because it'll just be just a celebration, And but it's good to actually have a live series going into the final game. Also, one where the teams have both had good wins, almost sort of similar sort of margin wins.
I reckon we just have a 16-week NRL comp and a 7-game Origin series.
Look, I honestly, I would just like, I think the NRL season's fine as long as it is, but I would be very happy to just punch a hole in the middle of it though, and just be like standalone Origin series.
Yeah.
Do it in the middle if you have to. I mean, I reckon
do it in the middle and just have a month camp and have 1 week
game 3 weeks in a row. Yep.
Don't hate it.
Because then you can do all those other games that people love to fucking watch when they see Samoa come up against Tonga and PNG. Like, everyone's available. I mean, figure it out.
Rugby league pop out over the course of a month.
You go.
The Landies and friends.
But I would imagine by the time we're talking next week that there'll be more on this. Expansion talk is ramping up. Hey, they're talking about now they want to have. No, they never said that. They never said that.
The Clydesdales are getting fucking touched up.
They want to have a 20 team comp by the time of the Brisbane Olympics or whatever.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's 20 by 2032. So which is good. I mean, because that's a good, that's a long enough time to really bring it in. But I mean, now I remember. I mean, Jay's not here to speak for himself, but I mean, he was always of like, there's not enough talent. That was his kind of viewpoint. But I think the Dolphins, the fact that no matter how many crushing season ending, fucking inspirational key players might never fucking play a game again, injuries they seem to suffer. I mean, they're still fucking up around the top four.
To be fair, by the time 2032 comes around,
you got a whole new generation of kids through. Yeah,
there's enough players to fill all of those teams just coming through the Penrith system.
Yeah.
They can't use them all.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the Dolphins have shown that the there's not enough talent argument is not true. So there's 30 players across 17 sides that need or want or deserve opportunity.
Yeah,
for sure. And the key is, you can't give fucking one of these new teams to Trent Barrett, for example. I mean, I don't think it's a fucking accident that the Dolphins have performed so solidly with Wayne Bennett there.
Yeah, I don't know that Wayne Bennett can go around again with 3 more clubs after South to fucking get them all off the ground.
No. I mean, but you need that kind of guy. Like, I mean, I don't know. Does Brian Smith even do it anymore? You need like a guy like that.
Is he even still alive?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. But like Craig Bellamy, I mean, maybe he's moved on from the Storms at that stage.
Yeah.
He'd be a great one. You
Definitely.
know, I mean, there's not many of them.
Guys like Bellamy, Tim Sheens. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sheensy might have lost his aura. I mean, I'm talking about Wayne losing his aura. I mean, Sheensy might have lost his aura in fucking 2007, but
yeah, definitely.
It ain't back. It never come back. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
I think it went in the letterbox of Scott Prince's free house.
Yep.
Fucking Titans.
It'll forever amaze me how that shit just kept, like, it all come out and it just all went.
Yeah.
Like nothing happened at all. And this was after the Storm shit. Like they was hypersensitive to fuckery, and still nothing. But look, my only wish for these new teams when they come in is that look, I think a Perth one's fairly nailed in at this stage. I think the PNG one's still a stupid fucking idea if you're going to have it local to the PNG. New Zealand probably another one.
Yeah, logistically, like I love the idea, in principle and emotion, of a PNG team.
Yeah, but you think about how it works in real life.
How the fuck do you do that?
Because you're just not going to get players take families up there, and and I asked New Zealand Warriors players how they fucking liked it, being based international to their families for a whole fucking season.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that focus group is not going to give them the results that perhaps the PNG bid wants to hear.
Yeah. That's fair.
But
with all due respect, like with some infrastructure and resources and expats behind the scenes as far as coaching and development and strength and development skills, all the rest of it, you could get the level up to a great standard. You can fill it with locals, right? You could fill it with local players.
Yes. Eventually,
it's just those couple of key positions that's going to make them. And I'm talking halves, and I'm talking maybe a 9. That is going to make them competitive or not, because there's going to be a lot of big fucking hits. And there's going to be a lot of hard runs.
Yes.
But if you're down 60-0, that only counts for so much.
They'll be still throwing the hits at 60-0 though too.
Definitely.
They just won't. They just won't stick.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But look. But my main number one wish for expansion, if I had to pick one thing to wish for, it would be, under no fucking circumstances, let the Bears be involved with any of these fucking teams.
You're a belligerent cunt. My number one wish would be Perth. That would be. I'd love to see a Perth team.
Perth without any fucking Norths encroachment.
Just Perth something.
They've had they had their own team once.
The Perth
I don't know why people think they want another one.
The Perth Genas. that's the way all that money that was going to go to netball could go to the fucking Perth NRL team. Just call them the Genas.
Well, you call them Reinhardts, and then you sort of get a play of like Lionheart. Like,
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
See, there you go.
Proper
Instead
MI.
of like
Some proper
like
MI shit.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you just call them the Perth Diggers?
Well, that's offensive.
That would be incredible.
You watch too much. You watch too much Kendrick. You're just throwing that word around like it's fucking nothing.
See what you should have said. What you should have done, Glennie. You know what you should have done, right? Do it.
We don't want to hear you say digger no more.
Yes. See, I hate that I had to prompt you to say that.
I know. It's been a big week, buddy. Motherfucker, we're 31 minutes in to this Express episode.
Yeah, also, I'm not looking at not that I'm looking at the clock, bro. I'm going to call the title of this episode "Jay Not Like Us."
Brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant.
Right.
Can I just give you some advice, though?
Yeah, sure. What?
You're doing a lot of sniffing, and from my experience, if you sniff on the show, Trotters bullies you for every week for 5 years. So
I'm sick, bro.
Do with that information what you will.
Yeah. People want a show or they don't want a show. Fucking choose one.
Trotters chooses violence. Bacon flavoured violence every day. Fuck that guy.
Exactly. Now, let's look at the games this week coming up then. Since you give me the fucking wriggle on. Couple of buys this week, being the Rabbits, Manly, and the Titans. And couldn't come at a better time. Now, first game, Friday night, 8 p.m. game. Doggies take on the Sharks at Accor Stadium. Obviously, it's very difficult to know what's happening in terms of people backing up and everything like that. But I would imagine New South Wales players in particular, there'd be almost a complete set of guys backing up. You'd think, hey?
Definitely.
And in this case, I mean, really the important one for the Doggies is as long as they've got Crichton there, I think.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the key.
I don't think the New South Wales players will be feeling any pain. So
no, that's right. Now the Sharks side, what are they doing here? Well, Nico, it's a Nico, obviously a spurned Nico game after being dropped from the Origin. I mean, is he going to try and press his chances to recapture his position?
You can see the headlines now. His response to his Origin snubbing, and he destroys the Dogs.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, look, the Dogs you've got to concede have made significant strides this year. It all came from the back of their defence, and while they're not pouring points on teams easily, it does seem like when they do get to that sort of 65-minute mark of a game that's winnable. Earlier in the season, we saw they had a couple of games that were winnable, and it just really took a push in the last 5 minutes. And they just weren't good enough to get it done, weren't good enough to generate points at the very, very tail end. They've kind of turned that around now, and particularly when they're on top in a game, I mean, they can finish teams off. And so there's definitely improvement happening there, under Serraldo. So Sharks
still big favourites, $1.54 the Sharks.
Yes, they're stumbling a little bit. I mean, people obviously still believe in the Sharks despite their more recent results. I mean, hasn't been great of late, but I mean, I still think they're a top 8 side. Just not a top 4 side. They're a top 4 or a top 2 side with a super easy draw, or a top 8 side with a super easy draw, which gets them up towards the top 4 side. So
1-4 in their last. 1-3 in their last 4 games. The Bulldogs, the opposite of 3-1. So, contrasting form of recent times, I'm probably going to have to go with the Sharks, though.
Based on what do you reckon? Because I'm almost tempted to fucking go the upset here.
Yeah, I think there is probably a bounce back factor for Hines. I think he'll have and maybe
because remember he was fighting for his life last game. And, shut the bed.
Yeah, but maybe he's just a guy, and maybe he needs to come to the realisation that he might be a bit of a tweenie. Sometimes you get guys that are too good for reserve grade, not quite good enough for first grade. And most of those guys end up at the West Tigers. But sometimes you also get guys that are good at clubland but can't quite make that leap to Origin. Yep. And maybe he's one of those guys.
Yep, maybe. I think almost certainly. And also we got to look at number 3 there for the Doggies in Bronson Jerry. Revenge game for him. Although I don't know how much revenge you can exact on a side when it was your own fault for taking gear. Yeah. But
he's playing the Sharks, not Asada.
The Thai fucking juice bar revenge game. I'm going the upset. I'm going the Doggies. That's how you know I'm sick. The Warriors take on the Broncos Saturday afternoon over in New Zealand. Warriors pretty much unaffected by Origin, just with 18th man Mitch Barnett and Kurt Capewell, who played a couple of minutes. I think I saw him in the field at some stage. What else do we have here? Sean Johnson's out. That means the Warriors are a great chance of winning this game. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't won a game since he fucking took a dive to earn the draw against Manly back in the day. He hasn't won since. So tell me karma isn't a fucking thing.
Both of these teams' recent form leaves a bit to be desired, but I say beware the wounded scaffolder. They got absolutely dusted last week, the Warriors, by 60.
Yep.
And if it's one thing I know about New Zealand, it's that they like to move to Australia. They just have
and gain employment in the field of scaffolding.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, it's a very proud nation. Not proud enough to stay there, but their pride would have definitely been wounded last week, and they'll be looking to bounce back. They're slight favourites, $1.87 to $1.97 for the Broncos. It's probably an indication that they are both in the fucking doldrums as far as form goes at the moment. But I'm going to tip the Warriors to bounce back.
I'm going to tip the Warriors, and I'm going to tell you why. For starters, I don't necessarily believe that the Broncos are going to rest these guys.
I don't think they can afford to.
Like, honestly, I think it's... But then I look at the Broncos, they're starting jet ski. Then you got Fletcher Baker, Karapani, and Marty Tapau on the bench. If they don't fucking... If like, for example, if Carrigan and Haas don't play and the Broncos have to trot out that level of donkey...
Yeah.
A, what a time to be alive, but B, they'll get rolled. Believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm on a vendetta against the scaffolders this season, but not this week. The Broncos really have to... The other thing is, as well, the Broncos are... I've got my little nephew coming up in his school holidays from Armidale, and he wants to go to the footy. So the fucking state of the draw sends like Queensland teams interstate and all this sort of thing, and there's not very few games to choose.
How good when you get to go to the footy and the young fella's like, "What's that, Uncle Nate?" And you'll be like, "Grass, mate." Don't get a lot of that in Armidale.
Oh, I mean,
not like greens, not the green stuff. It's generally grass where we come from, Uncle Nate. It's normally beige.
But anyway, the game it's going to have to be like within the window is the Broncos and Panthers next Friday night. So the Broncos have to bring it because they're going to get fucking analed next time.
And he's going to be embarrassing already.
And they're already
did we just preview a game in 2 weeks' time? Yeah. Cool. It's a fucking ladder predictor, baby. We don't have to worry
without even looking at the ladder predictor.
That'll be an express episode. Now we've previewed half the games 2 weeks prior. How good?
I think the Broncos, this is, given their recent form, and this is a must-win game for them because they're not sitting in the, like, I don't want to get all ladder predicty on you, but where are they sitting at the moment? They're not, you see, they're sitting in the bottom of, they're sitting in 7th thanks to a bye. And they're going to lose. They're going to lose that spot if they don't. They're going to lose that spot regardless anyway. Because I know Manly are going to jump into. They're going to be at worst 7th at the end of the next round based on the same reason. And potentially as high as 6, depending on results. But so the Broncos they've got to get some points this time because fuck man, the season's moving.
Yeah.
And if they want to get to get to the one they're supposed to win because they lost one.
Let's be real. There's a little team that could in 16th.
Well,
that is.
Let's calm down. That's a weird stuff. You're previewing 2025 now. Fucking hell.
It's a little team that may never lose again.
Yeah, that is a copyrighted term sentence, isn't it? Not by you. Warriors. Okay, Knights take on the Eels. And this one's happening in Newcastle again. And I just don't want to keep saying that they play all the games in fucking Newcastle. But I mean, let me just point at the location of the game. The Knights side, pretty much unaffected during the course of State of Origin football. Still no Ponga.
Is he ever coming back?
Apparently he's going to be back for the game against Manly. Potentially is a chance, which I think is maybe, is it around 19? It's an Origin-affected game for us, one where the players are sat out. So, of course, he'd come back for a game where fucking Origin players aren't invited. The Eel side, you'd have Mitch Moses absolutely buzzing. Gutho, green with envy. What's it like to win an Origin
game,
Mitchie? What's it like? What's it like not to fucking completely fuck up your chances when you're given a rep jersey, Mitchie? Tell me what it feels like.
You really don't like him, eh?
Can I touch your medal? Anyway.
Fuck Para, I'm going the Knights.
Why?
Because fuck Para, they're coming
Based on
last.
what?
I'm not tipping no fucking wooden spooners.
The best New South Wales Blues halfback in the game at the moment, taking the worst 7 in the game at the moment, in a head-to-head battle of former West Tigers.
Yeah.
Yet not involving the West Tigers.
When you put it that way, jeez, you make it. It's a hard sell.
Will Price gets his chance though in 5/8. I mean, I would have thought that you'd go with Cogger and then drop Hastings and put Price in at 7. But look, I know Knights fans have been waiting to see Price in the top grade again for a very long time.
The young fella at fullbacks there again. He gets another start, which is
the other young one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fletcher Sharp. Jeez, he got some. I was talking to a Knights fan during the week. I was like, Jesus, if you could trot out 13 fucking fullbacks, you'd be going all right. They're all top quality. It's a shame you haven't any halves.
It's like Freddie Fittler Origin level selections. Like Des Hazard, picking a team full of hookers for the Titans.
Exactly. No, I'm going to go Knights at home.
I'm going to say that that Mitchy Mo is going to fucking get this wave, and he's going to ride the fucking wave home, and all the way over the top of Newcastle in a bigger wave than fucking Pasha Bolka, and fuck the Knights.
That's
I don't care who's favourite for this game. I mean, these teams are both so fucking average this season. My God.
Oh, there's a lot in it. Knights $1.87, Eels $1.97.
Yeah, right. Newcastle have surprised me with Ponga being out. They have set that sort of there is a baseline of quality there to them where it's not super variable and they find themselves in contests.
Yeah,
but it's just you just look at the paper on paper and you're like, how the Eels so bad? Oh no, that's right, Trent Barrett's coaching them. I actually forgot for 5 minutes. Yeah, sorry, Knights. Fuck. Yeah, Knights are going to win. For 5 minutes there, I completely forgot. You didn't remind me the Trent's that coach. How can I forget that? This is what fucking illness does to the cognitive functions. Yeah, Knights.
You spent that much time shitting on Gutho, and your fucking main target was sitting there the whole time.
He really was. Isn't it funny that those two found each other after all these years?
Yeah.
Just goes to show that good things happen to good people. I mean, talking about me. Melbourne Storm. Melbourne Storm take on the Canberra Raiders in Melbourne. Pappy's comeback last week was impressive.
Yeah.
He didn't injure himself again, did he?
No, he's back in the one.
Good.
As opposed to his opposite one, Jordan Rapana, who had one of his fucking trademark absolute howlers against the Tigers, who run right. I know we didn't review that game, but I really should.
You can talk about it now, though, if you want to.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just have to sit up and take notice when a team puts himself, squarely in premiership contention, such as the Tigers did. It all just clicked. All the shit that normally fucking ball, the passes that don't stick or go over the sideline, the kicks that normally go out on the full, the tackles that typically get missed were, the passes stuck. The kicks were perfect. The tackles were effective.
The kicks weren't even perfect, but it was one of those games where it didn't fucking matter, because if it was like a weird abnormal kick, it'd find something to bounce off or bounce up or bounce over and only land in the Tigers' hands.
And we still caught it and scored. It was delightful. It was a thing of beauty. No one could believe it except me. My entire household was shitting on me throughout the whole game, but I didn't care because the Tigers were winning.
They would have been shitting on the other side of their faces by the end of that game.
No, they're fucking belligerent, the lot of them. They still maintain, oh, yeah, oh, great, you won 2 in a row. Cool. 2 in a row. Oh, and just the
you bring that shit on yourself, though.
The condescending nature of my wife. Oh, that's great, Glennie. That's 2. That won 2. That's good. What about before that? Like, how many?
Now she can see. She's like, this little fucking... This is a bald gnome, got no power over me anymore.
Yeah. She's taking on this whole new persona, and it's like, bitch, you only got new eyes. They go black just like they used to before.
Jeez, Glennie. Oh, you nearly made me cough up my lung.
Ah, good times.
It's just a shame that the Tigers, in this current form of the last fortnight, which probably ends this week, but it's a shame that you didn't get to take the Broncos on where you had that rich vein of form.
Yeah.
To really fucking hammer it.
Or they could have been playing like that at Magic Round when I went down and watched them get dusted or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's like you got 2 good weeks a year. Like last week you obliterated the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then you had that, and I don't think you had a good game against the Eels or something from memory. But yeah, that was about it.
Yeah, that's about it. I cannot see a scenario where the Raiders win this game, though.
No, none whatsoever. But I mean, look, they by all rights there should be a bounce back, because they would have been embarrassed by the way they performed. And this thing about Rapana, I mean, he has such a...
Well, they should have been embarrassed about the way they performed the week before last, and then still played like that against the Tigers. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay. Storm by 30.
Yeah, plus.
The Dragons take on the Dolphins. This one is at Jubilee. The Dragon side. What have they got here? I mean, I'm sure the Hunt's going to back up into 7. Yes, he is. Sully's in, Michael Molo's in, Couchman, Marshke, and then we got a bunch of reserves like Jack Bird and Farmanu Brown. Dolphins side, anything new for them? Bostock is out. So Tessie New on the wing.
That's a fair out for them. He's been going really well.
Hammer's named into one, but he's not playing. I mean, he sustained a shoulder injury, right? Like, he will be out.
Yeah, he'll be sore today. And probably worse tomorrow. So
I don't think he'll be playing. No. So you can rule him out. But I mean, they can, throw in TWiL, who's done a fantastic job.
He's been great
in the absence of I mean, he's not the Hammer, but he's fucking very solid replacement. Unearthed some fullbacks this year across the competition.
Definitely.
If you think about it, I mean, like you got TWiL as a gun here from the Dolphins. Knights have unearthed 2 of them. We got Lehigh down at Manly as well. Fucking fullbacks coming out everywhere. Next up, so what do we got? So what? Jeez, let me think. Dolphins have had trouble winning, in a very small sample, mind you, but very difficulty winning down in Sydney.
Well, actually, I think this will be a really solid game. Both teams, they say styles make fights, and I think these two teams, the way each of them play, I think it's should be an entertaining and quite a challenging. Got Osako, Tessie New, obviously Herbie, those guys trying to defend the high ball with Lomax coming through.
And the Phoenix just trying to defend, period.
Yeah, not their strong suit. But,
no.
I
favour the Dolphins.
I'm actually leaning towards the Dragons.
The reason I favour the Dolphins
just
is
at home.
Yeah, but it's not Wynn though. Like Wynn is the one where if it was at Wynn Stadium, I'd say Dragons for sure because whilst like Wynn is a cursed stadium for Manly, but as I've seen this season, it's a fucking cursed stadium for everyone that plays there other than Dragons. So that one I would say yeah, but I think Jubilee, I think the Dolphins can get up. And because while they are sort of similar-ish sides, I think the Dragons just have this higher baseline of quality and staying in a gameness for a longer period of time. And whereas the Dragons, like for example, when they were, a couple of weeks ago when they were playing against the Manly team that had no reserves, like still couldn't find a way to fucking even look like mounting anything. I think the Dolphins could eat that shit up, and they've got enough talent and strike in their side, even with Hammer out, that they can, get enough points to get the job done.
Not for the first time in our history, we disagree.
Look at you. You love the Dragons.
Nah,
you're a fucking Dragons lover. Look at you.
Just got to call it how I see it.
Throwing a cape on for the fucking St. George Illawarra Dragons. Maybe throw a hood on as well. How about that? Yeah, the Panthers.
Some of my most favourite people support the Dragons. How dare you?
Panthers take on the Cowboys in Penrith. Again, we wait and see what happens with Origin. I think all the New South Wales-based players, Penrith side will be fine. They'll be in. The Cowboys, I don't know if there were any injuries to their guys outside of potentially Pride on the night. And honestly, most of the running, a lot of the guys like Ruben Cotter did was just like running in third man into fucking situations, trying to fucking start shit. I mean, they weren't running too hard into the teeth of the defence or anything like that. My God, when you look at the North Queensland lineup though, with potential changes and ins and outs and shit, like what? Like I'm just going to assume straight up that this team list is bullshit. And all of the Origin guys are going to be going straight in. When I look at the bench, I mean, you can see on the bench that they've named, and the extended bench that they've named Val, Talangi, Deard, and Robson and Cotter. So I'm going to say all those guys are going to be in there. There's one. Who haven't they named there? Feels like someone's missing. But maybe yeah, Nanai. Where's he? He came through our game okay, but maybe he's got a scheduled rest or something, because he's not in the extended bench, so he can't come back in. So okay, so that's one guy from Origin they lose.
Nanai didn't play Origin,
didn't he?
Fuck, I don't remember. Don't remember hearing his fucking name called. If he did,
fucking now you're making me doubt myself. I tell you, I am outright hallucinating this week. So look, I'm prepared to just say you're right, Glennie, because I honestly don't know. But I can't trust the bullshit coming out of my mouth. But and this is the first time in my life.
Yeah. Who the fuck am I thinking of?
He scored that try.
Who the fuck am I thinking of?
I don't know who you're thinking of, bro.
No.
You're thinking of Jamal Shibasaki.
I always, when it's Origin time, I always just assume. I just assume he's going to be in there. Fuck.
I'd love to know who you're thinking about now, because you just about gaslit me into believing that I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't even start to think about it.
I do have a bad habit of getting Nanai and Lukey mixed up. Maybe that's where...
Yeah.
I do. do have a bad habit, watching the game and thinking that it's Lukey and it's actually Nanai every time. Anyway.
Yeah. Lukey, that renowned State of Origin fucking wars.
Exactly. Well, I'm not saying there's any logic to it. I'm just trying to let you know how my brain works.
You got too high on the helium Lukey. Yeah, that's what it is.
You're a fucking idiot. I think Penrith win and win well.
Yeah, I think Penrith as well. I mean, they've shown that the system's working fine. You know, with some decent players out, and it's almost like they've had enough practice at these guys being out that they can cover. You know, they can cover them pretty well in terms of their system.
Yeah.
And I think that then you've got all those guys coming back from Origin high as a kite as well after such a great win. So, I think Penrith will roll them and just make the week for the North Queensland players even fucking worse. Sydney Roosters take on the West Tigers Sunday evening. Why is this one so late?
Don't know. It's very interesting.
New South Wales and their fucking weird holidays and times and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
don't have an explanation for that. I'm sorry.
The Rooster side. You always say like it feels like it's just a different batch of players in Origin than what you would ordinarily expect. Areas where normally it's historically it's the backs that kind of get their selections, and this time round it's exclusively forwards. And these guys will come home. Apart from Lindsay Collins, they'll be high as a kite. I think it benefits them a lot to have their spine not competing in Origin. No one from their spine competing in Origin. Tupanua in the centres is interesting, as he tries to acquire himself a release to get a position playing in the back row for another club from next season, which could be the Doggies. Apparently he agreed to the Doggies, but it hasn't actually dropped. Or the thing is, he could be going to Manly or somewhere else. I don't know. They take on the Tigers. The Tigers have got a lot of guys coming back
from Origin. Yeah.
No, from injury or suspension or just being shit. I don't know what it is, but
combination of all.
Frankly, I'm no Benji. Because I can't pass the ball far enough to get it into the crowd. But what I will say is this: if I were Benji, coming off a couple of consecutive spoons, I would be fucking just YOLOing into this youth policy that has seen the fucking spirited.
Well, he is
inspirational results.
That's the thing. He is.
You say he is, but now these guys are going to starting to come back. Clemmer's found his way back in there already. Bateman and Olam not yet. I don't think Charlie Staines was ever good enough to say that he was a guy that could find his way back in at any point. Talon De Silva, I'm surprised that he sat there in the 20 as well, because, I wouldn't
be surprised. Well, Clemmer may come off the bench for Kit, but, they're sort of biding their time with Kit Laulili. They've got his brother on the wing there who was outstanding on the weekend, but, I think he looks to Clemmer as that experienced old head for some of the younger forwards. Not a cool head, but
Steph could be that guy for them though. Really, he's played enough.
Yeah, he's still very young though. But
it's relative, isn't it? He's young if he's playing for Easts. He's fucking. He may as well be James Tamau with the fucking.
That's fair.
Experience difference in this side.
That is fair, but you look at Dreams. Young. Fa'atape, he's had a fair bit of experience. He's 23. He's had experience in the Q Cup. He's come through. Obviously, Naden's experience. Dewey's been around a little while. Then you
didn't talk about Dewey though. You didn't give him his fucking flowers from last week.
He played to a level, and the thing I was most impressed with was when he took the intercept and he took the first few strides, and then you can see I've got to really fucking put the pedal down.
He's fucking bone on bone, and he outran KO Weeks,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be fast,
Yeah.
and pulled away.
Yeah.
It looked like he was going to get done, maybe 10 metres into his run.
But just the fact that he got to top pace and there was no hesitation. He wasn't looking for support. He backed himself.
Yep.
Mentally, for him, that has to be massive. But for, to see him after just signing another year and extending, a 1-year deal, and I can understand the club's trepidation in a 1-year deal. And I think they'll probably sign him to multiple 1-year deals over the coming seasons. But to see him after coming back from that, and even just the last ACL, knowing it's his third,
yeah,
and seeing him get to full speed and
actually floor it, yeah.
That's
not
mentally that has to be massive for him in his first game back.
Not to have that reluctance to be like, fuck, I shouldn't,
and especially at that level, it's a percentage point here and there that makes a difference, and for him to just go, and I think that's huge. It's probably the best game he's played.
I think it's one of his best. I mean, he played some good games.
Yeah.
For the Tigers.
The Magic Round game against Newcastle was fucking great. I remember that vividly. But Luke on the wing, he's fucking a teenager. So is Lockie. Obviously, Caesar's experienced. Steph's young. Bole's in his second season of first grade. Porter's only just debuted this year. So's Samuela, Sione, Matamua. He's I really do think Benji is doing that, and I think it comes from his introduction into first grade via Sheens in 2004, and they went with that youth policy. I think that's where he's headed. Heath Mason.
You can think that, but it's not true. I mean, the fact
Tell me how it's not true.
Because you had like fucking 16 out of your top 30 injured. That's what he was forced into doing this. Now the real test for him is...
you're just trying to put a spin on it, bro.
As the injured guys get healthy, that's when I want to see him say, "No, fuck yourself. The young kids are still playing. I'm gonna ride this hand until the wheels fall off." That's what I want to. That's what I want to see him do. Yeah. Like Clemmer coming back in. That's not enough to say yay or nay.
I don't hate Olam coming in for Naden at some point. I don't hate that.
No, but on this side, I mean, the one player that you haven't really mentioned in detail, but who I think is the most key player in the West Tigers side at the moment is Aiden Caesar. The difference between the West Tigers with Aiden Caesar versus the West Tigers when they've got fucking Bud Sullivan.
I tried to tell you this, man. He's the worst player in the NRL.
We tried to tell you this before the fucking season started and you wouldn't have it. It took about 6 rounds for you to realise this. What are you talking about?
I don't know why you got to come in with facts and stuff.
But I tell you, it is great for the Tigers to see guys like Bateman and Charlie Staines outside of the 17, and hopefully they stay that way for the rest of the year.
Look, I don't hate Bateman.
You should.
Oh well, that's not nice.
You should.
Every team needs a little bit of cunt.
If that's what he brought to the table, sure. But he brings. I mean, you got that in Clemmer.
I also feel like
some Fane who's hanging around there. I mean, someone could get shanked.
I said cunt, not hardened criminal.
Actually, your cunt now is the least likely one. It's fucking Seafarth.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The angry albino.
Big Red. He has it in his game, and he struggles with the balance.
Every single game. But
his game on the weekend was fucking outstanding.
Every game, without fail, there is a Seafarth madness.
Yeah. He is...
And it's just a matter of whether it costs you the game or not.
He is Corey Horsburgh without tear ducts.
Yeah.
I love him.
Agree. I think he's by and large, he's borderline fucking liability, but not as much as I think Bateman is.
Oof. Big call. I think
And
Tigers. I think the Tigers shake it up again and shock the world. I think
the Eels are going. I think the Eels. I think.
Well, I don't think the Eels are going to do fuck all because they're not participating in the game.
I think the Roosters are going to kick 7 shades of shit out, but I just hope that doesn't make Benji flinch.
Okay.
And I hope I hope he keeps persisting with this side. That will not get if he persists with the kids, he won't get a spoon.
It's another thing I want to
say.
He
won't win. He won't get into finals.
Relevant to
this year.
Can you stop shitting on Benji? I've said it. We're 2 games in to a 10-game win streak. 2 games in. Soon to be 3.
Right.
And Lindsay Collins.
Certified retard, Glennie.
Wap, 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 wap. Lindsay Collins, biggest fake tough guy in the NRL. Dub. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 of them. You got 2 of them. You need to get another 3 to get one sequence finished.
Glennie, fuck him up. Lindsay Collins, biggest fake tough guy in the NRL. So I look forward to him getting the business from Big Red. I don't think the Roosters halves are going to love trying to tackle Samuel Afenu.
Yeah, but they've done well. They've done a decent job of protecting in the last couple of weeks when they've been playing great. And Sam Walker is in career best form. The type of
that's what the media will have you believe. You know who else is in career best form?
Who?
90% of the Tigers team, based on a 2-week sample size.
Exactly. now they get to run with the big dogs and see how they go.
Tigers 13+. The more you put on, the more you get back. / end up homeless or whatever.
Yeah. Think about what shit you really could be buying.
Maybe we shouldn't laugh quite so heartily at that. People with gambling problems, plights.
Yeah. If you're actually a proper DJ, please don't listen to Glennie and do anything he says. This is not financial
actually,
advice.
If you are a human being breathing air, do not listen to me or anything I say.
All right. Hey, one thing you didn't. I forgot to ask you about the touch. Again. It's a bonus at the end of the episode. This is the thing now because it's the best part of the show.
Did I tell you I got new boots?
No.
New boots, new rails for the
gold?
big diesel. Part of them are. Some of them is. It's white.
So they got gold on.
White, gold, and blue.
Oh, they sound fast.
Yeah, they do. I do not look fast, but.
What brand are they? Are you endorsed? Let's get an endorsement.
Asics.
I knew they were Asics. I knew it. You look like an Asics guy.
Yeah, because you know.
New Balance don't make touch boots, do they?
Yeah, no. Well, not touch boots, but yeah. But these are Asics make a specific touch football boot.
Okay. And what is? Let's educate people here because meaning.
What are you asking me? It doesn't make any difference to me. I wore 10-year-old fucking Adidas boots that I bought when Jackson was in the under sixes.
Oi, you fucking played rugby league just like most of us. Listening. What is the difference? You know what a rugby league boot is? How does a touch differ? I'll be lighter, I'd assume, right?
Yeah. I think it's lighter, and it's probably just a different sort of stud pattern for sharp changes of direction, which is completely lost on me. I should probably just cut those studs off. But
you wear Crocs.
I could run out in fucking Wellingtons. Let's be honest. But look, it was another grand final rematch. Against the Saints. Yeah, and
fucking Saints.
This time they left out a couple of the guys, including the guy that destroyed us in the grand final. He played us early in the year and beat me with an absolute Hall of Fame level fucking left to right pill that I Murray Tuilungi'd it and just watched it sail over my fucking head because I took 2 steps to come in and shut, and as soon as he saw me take a step, he let the ball go.
You left your man open.
Yeah, because I thought he was going short, but he's way too good for me. And pinged the ball over my head, and I could only watch.
That's not your fault. If you're having to come in and shut it down, that means someone's fucked up. And
that's what they say. If you come in and shut, and you get beat by a long ball, fucking just go back and tap off. It's all good.
Yep.
Rather than being out and they die between you and the link, you can't have that. Anyway, we played pretty well, I thought. Couple of names out with injury. Couple of important middles. We had a couple of fill-ins. Played reasonably well, I thought, but it was we just spent the whole time defending. And Saints had a couple of their bigger senior names out, but stacked their team with a couple of guys that aren't too far removed from playing A grade, younger fellas. And those motherfuckers, if you give those guys an inch of space, they are lightning and should not be playing C grade, and they showed us why.
Okay, so you got killed by a team of ringers.
Yeah.
Finals looking like a distant...
Look, we can definitely still make finals because the Sharks team that we dusted the other week, they are yet to win a game.
Right.
And one of the guys from Sharks is dating a young lady that works for us at my business, and I've been feeding it to him. So, and when we played them the other week, I talked a lot of shit, both on the field as he kept running at me, and whilst I was on the sideline and he's on the field, to the point where his teammates were asking, "What the fuck did you do to that guy?" And and some of my teammates were like, "You know him, right?"
So I guess I speak for the entire listenership when I say fucking lift.
Yeah, you're right.
We want the grand final again.
I've said this to Bradley.
I can't get the happy ending to the fucking 30 for 30 if you don't make the fucking finals, bro.
I know. But I said to Bradley, I did go to great lengths to not intertwine. I was informed by Bradley, who knows me better than almost anyone, that my idea of trying to fly under the radar was probably never going to happen, mainly because in the 20 plus years that he's known me, I've never flown under the radar with anything ever. So my ambition to not intertwine the worlds of touch football and podcast has not fucking worked out particularly well at all.
That ambition could have been super successful if you had done one thing.
Not been on a podcast.
Not talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's my thing, right? But I could talk about it on the podcast and go and play, and that would have been fine. It's when the touch football people started rapidly joining the fucking podcast group.
Look, the big D's is a fucking magnet. That's what it comes down to. Big Diesel's a magnet.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm going to get assassinated by someone, and their motive is going to be I stole their touch football fucking airtime and glory.
Because you're the most famous touch football player of all time.
Oh, that's getting a run. That is getting a run.
From
A graders, no less.
Guess what? I'll tell you right now. You say A graders, I say who? I don't know these motherfuckers. I couldn't name one of them. Not one. Is Jackson one? That's the only one.
He has been. Yeah. Yep. He played A grade last year, and he's played. And
I only know of him because of you. So that still makes you the most famous touch football player.
Look, you make a fair argument. Look, the dangerous thing is if I start to buy into it.
I apologise if this offends other people that are playing in the touch football scene out there, but I ain't heard of you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're offended. But I ain't heard of you. I
don't know you, motherfucker. Oh, fuck.
They're not like Glenn. They're not like Glenn.
That's the perfect way to end the show, Nathan.
That is it. It was a fun one. All right, I'm going to bed. Thanks for persisting with my coughing and raspy voice.
It's been an absolute chore, but it's what I do.
I was talking to the audience, not you. You fuck you. I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. All right. And on that note, We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Nope.